Right now, you know, 3 of the 4 are just dirt patches, and the other one is sort of old shrubbery. This is to do brick seating walls in each of the 4 corners, some benches and trash cans, landscaping, some turf, that's the lighter green, and some potted plants. And on the vet building, which is here, there's going to be a dog watering and poop station. Right next to the vet building. Yeah, for the animals. The original project had in there the town square clock, which is right here. But when we went to bid, it put us way over budget. The bid has fixed budget dues through its stakeholders, so we had to take out the town clock from the project because it couldn't be afforded, and we sort of put it on the side. The feedback we've gotten from so many stakeholders in the public has been pretty strong about the town clock. A lot of excitement about it, people wanting to see it happen. So the bid has decided to go ahead and try to spearhead a fundraising campaign to do the clock. And right now the total estimated cost, and this is for delivery, installation, running the electrical, the whole kit and caboodle to get it installed, including a donation plaque at the base, is about $20,000. So that's the amount that the bid has to raise. And part of the fundraising is to present and request a beautification grant from the neighborhood council. We've also started a Kickstarter campaign for individual donations from the community, $1, $5, $10, whatever amount. There's a flyer back there that has that information on it as well, which looks like this. Has information about where you can either go to Kickstarter or send a check to the bid with the project. So far, this has been live for about 2 weeks. We've raised $1,200 so far from individual donations from the community, so we're off to a really good start. Our goal is to raise $5,000 through these small donations, and combined with selling donor bricks to those seating walls. And those are for people who want to donate larger amounts. The donor brick campaign starts at $125 for 1 brick, or you can get 3 bricks for $300. So between the donor brick sales and the Kickstarter, we're hoping we can raise at least $5,000 that way. But that only gets us 1/4 of the way to the total budget. We have an application in with the county supervisor's office. Haven't heard anything back on that yet. And then, of course, we're here making a request to the neighborhood council. I can just highlight a little bit about the clock. It's on this 1 page or 2. It's pull it up here. It's a Howard replica 2. That's the style, by Verding Clock Company. They do clocks all around the country. This is sort of the specs on it. This is the rendering they sent us in the corner down here. If you can see, you can't see it from here, but you can see it in the packet. It would say Old Granada Village at the top. It would have the Granada Hills logo in it. It's LED lit. It's GPS controlled, so no one has to sit there and wind the thing around or reset it. It's always going to be exactly on time. Let's see what else. It'll have a chime that can be turned off overnight. Let's see what else. For major donors, we're going to do a donor plaque. These are just examples. This is not at all what it would be, but some type of plaque at the base. For whoever, if we can fit, if it's 10 people or 12 names, the top 12 donors will get on this. So probably it's going to be people who are organizations that give probably over 1,000. So obviously we're not the neighborhood council. A big name on there.
You hope.
So just some other facts. The clock comes with a 3-year manufacturer's warranty, 2-year installation warranty. Verdin does all of the preventive maintenance ongoing. The first 6 months are free. They come with the installation. And then after that, it's a small fee that the bid will pick up in its maintenance budget. Otherwise, all the repairs and maintenance for the clock, the insurance coverage, everything else can be covered or will be covered under the bid's ongoing maintenance budget. So, you know, it's not going to get installed and just sit there and then if something goes wrong, no one can do anything. No one will fix it. Let's see. Oh, I may have forgotten. Also back there is the brick donor forms, so feel free to take one or as many as you want to. And you can read through this. This is for the donor bricks. We're doing two types of bricks, I almost forgot to mention. One is just general community, your name, your company's name, you know, whatever you want to put on there. And those bricks will go in the parkway where the clock's going to be. And those donor bricks will be on the top of the brick wall. And then we're also selling bricks over on the vet wall, which is for like a pet memorial, or if you just want to say, you know, to Rusty, the greatest dog on the earth, you know, or whatever you want to say. We've already sold 9 bricks for the pet wall in 2 weeks. Well, I barely even had it out. I think I sent it out a week ago. Started sending it to the distribution. And we sold 11 bricks on the community wall. So we're about 20 bricks right now already, you know, just a week into it. So that's a really good start.
Okay, before we go to the actual motion, just as you're in essence the expert, does anybody have any specific questions for Mr. Miller?
I have
Ryan, feel everybody has their hand up.
You mentioned ongoing maintenance of the clock. When the safety committee or the ad hoc committee that was doing the neighborhood watch signs came to that intersection where the most heavily damaged signs was directly across from where we've got the clock hung. And by damaged, it was damaged with stickers, graffiti, and actually bent a little. It had been attacked basically by the public for some reason. That being said, is there a plan to maintain the surfaces of the clock, maintain, you know, anything that happens from, you know, the whatever?
Yeah, that would fall under the bid's maintenance repair obligations in its budget. The clock metal comes with it's an anti-graffiti paint, which makes removing graffiti really easy. You just use like 409. Don't take any spray paint or anything off. Stickers, you know, if you use the right thing, you can get stickers off. A lot of times people try to scratch them off, and then they end up scratching the metal. So, you know, we have experience getting stickers and graffiti off of things. But yeah, the bid would take care of that one going.
Would a company do this, or would the community do this?
No, we would bring in somebody to accompany a vendor. Similar to how we remove graffiti now throughout the bid.
My question is a little bit what Ross was asking. So, I mean, if you think about it, it's like a $20,000 car sitting there, and I understand it's maintenance. What has been forecasted in the budget for what Ross is saying, it's likely going to get tagged, it's likely going to be heavy maintenance, it sounds like. What budget, like what amount of money?
Yeah.
Is the bid going to be able to afford to say that and everything else is done?
We don't anticipate that adding one thing to the entire bids district is going to be that much more of an extra cost. I mean, we deal with graffiti and stickers on benches and elsewhere throughout the bid already. The budget, I think, for those, I think it's $5,000 a year, and we've never used that whole $5,000 ever. So it would be paid under that account or that line item.
Somebody's already kind of mapped out, forecasted, and that
Yes.
should be enough for it.
Yes.
And my second question is, is it bid 501c3?
It is a 501c6.
So that's going to be, you can only give donations to 501c3?
Right.
Or school?
And we're aware of that, and when I talked to the councilman's office about it, there is a mechanism that they allow, they can go through, and I don't have the exact details, I have to talk to Megan again, but if there's another 501(c), then the funds would go to that organization, and then that organization would re-gift it back to the bid. repurpose it or however you thing. And that could be the Rotary, I'm not sure what else is a 501(c)(3). And we've done that before, because there's been times we've dealt with that.
Okay, and that's typically, but they're the ones in charge of it, you guys are in charge, so I'm just worried about substance of reform here. You know, substance of it, we're giving it to the non-501(c)(3).
What if you pay directly towards the block?
It would be the company then.
Yes.
I don't know if we'll do that. I just wanted to, you know, make.
You mean if you had an invoice for whatever the amount is and paid it directly?
Yeah, you pay directly.
I mean, I'm sure that can be done from Verdant. We're talking about from Verdant.
I think.
Yeah, in talking to Megan, you heard basically it's like there's a way to do it.
Okay.
And that's a detail that can be.
We do have a sitting commissioner of the city board that deals with exactly this issue. It's in the meeting, so obviously there's a need for some sort of liaison beyond our level. I'm sure that's more than possible. Sorry, please keep answering the question.
Piggybacking on Ross's question, I think more of the thing that I'm concerned about is vandalism, like taking a bat to that clock or something that would definitely do a lot of damage. Is there insurance or something to guarantee that it is put back and not winds up being an eyesore instead of a beautification?
Yeah, well, because it's in the district, it would come under the BID's insurance policies. Both its property damage policy and its liability policy. Yeah, I mean, we've got the brick monuments throughout the bid, we've got the medallions throughout the bid, and we haven't had any vandalism to those things at all yet, and they've been up for 4 or 5 years. So we don't anticipate, that, it's gonna somehow attract vandalism more than everything else that's in the district. And with an improved parkway and more people sitting there and hanging out there, that's gonna deter people too, because it's gonna be too visible.
Just like the plaza.
I think we have a young lady over there, we want to ask a question.
I have one question. This that you're showing, this is not, these people haven't given you money,
It's
right?
just-
I mean, the
it's-
North
it's a-
Valley Coalition and
it's a
Patriot
sample.
Oil
It's a sample.
have not voted to give money for this.
It's just an
right?
example of what
Oh.
it could look like if people
Just
get money.
checking.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Those could be interchanged, put a
Right.
person's name there,
Got it.
whatever.
Got it, okay.
Do you have a question?
Yeah.
You had mentioned before that the clock does chime.
Right.
So what's the decibel level on these chimes? Neighbors that
Yeah, I
are-
don't know, but I could find out. But it can be programmed that it does not chime overnight. So you can stop it, you can program it to stop at whatever hour you want to pick, 6 p.m., 9 p.m., 10 p.m., whatever, and then when you want it to restart. So, that,
Who determines when it stops?
well, the bid would take care of, make sure it gets programmed. And then, if we get feedback from the community, we'll make adjustments to deal with it. I mean, like anything else.
I'll speak to the graffiti and damage because I was in Pittsburgh about a month ago, and after having come to the beautification committee meeting, all of a sudden I started noticing all of practically the exact same clocks. They didn't say Rock Hills on it. But there were a lot of them around there in downtown, and it didn't catch my eye, at least. I mean, some of them may have had some light vandalism, but nothing that caught my eye like, wow, that got tagged or that got damaged. So, I don't know if we're on a scale of better or worse than Pittsburgh, and I'm sure that's up to a lot of people's different opinions. And I won't even get into the sports team, but it's at least comparable. I didn't see damage to the clocks there.
Yes, I'm on your Kickstarter page here.
Yes.
I congratulate you for getting that going, for raising $766. But on the pledge level, it has, I can only give $1.
Yeah, that's the minimum.
That's the minimum. But it says pledge $100, and it says that the bricks are all gone. So
The bricks are what?
All gone. You're out of Kickstarter bricks. So
$100 bricks are out.
I don't, it shouldn't say that, but I'll double check it, because there's still,
Because I think you need to put some more bricks
there's
on.
plenty of bricks, so we'll check that in.
All right, putting aside Anthony's desire.
But there's plenty of
for
bricks.
brick, Are there any specific questions before we move to a motion or possible motion?
Yeah, what you mentioned that the commissioner here, who's knowledgeable about the funding issues with the state. I mean, I'd be interested in hearing your opinion about the 501c3 issue versus C6, or the issue of asking the neighborhood council to fund this.
Uh,
How do you?
Your decision, if, I know it's me, but it would be your decision if you want me to speak to that.
Certainly.
Okay. The neighborhood councils have a purpose, and the purpose of the neighborhood council set up in the city charter is to bring the voice of our community to City Hall and to bring city services to the community. And the way we bring our voice, the voice of the community to City Hall, are by doing things like outreach, by making sure that there's return on investment for the things that we do. For example, if you're going to purchase PE equipment for a school, then you should not only have the school putting a banner up telling about every meeting that you're holding, but the school should also send out a flyer inviting the parents to your meeting. There should be a return on that investment that you're investing in the way of outreach or in the way of bringing that voice back to City Hall or providing a city service. So that's the guidelines for spending money. That's how it's supposed to be spent. So you have to justify for yourselves that this is being spent in that manner and how you're doing that. What is, for example, if you decide, I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but if you decide to do it, what is the return on the investment? How is the community gonna know that you are the ones who put up this money? How is this something that the community would want? Is this something that betters invest in the most amount of people? The guidelines basically are to bring the voice of the community to City Hall and to bring city services to the community. So you have to make your decisions with that. Yes.
I think the question from the statement was, she wants to know, versus are we allowed to pay 501c3 and then pay?
Yeah, well, she added two parts to that. So
Yeah.
I'll go back to the first part.
Okay.
And that is, it goes through the department because of the new funding process. MPGs are being done differently than a little bit different than the way they were, but we no longer have the way that we did it before. So you have to have guidance from the funding department to make sure there wouldn't be an issue. There are ways to pay for things directly by using, like you would just make a P card, not a P card purchase because that was still funding. Use the debit card, for making but you would have to have all the documents in place because you wouldn't want to get in trouble later when they go back after you spent it. So you would have to, I would suggest having Betty walk you through. It's not impossible.
Okay,
I would just comment that we have made purchases like that in the past, directly to a vendor, rather than through a 501c3 and then on. And Lydia's advice is exactly right. I think if we go in advance to funding and say, here's what we want to do, can we accomplish this by? But we've done it several times in the past where we made direct payments, large payments, directly to a vendor for materials or project.
So I'd actually like to add to that. What I wanted to do is prevent you from getting yourself into hot water or thinking that you can do something that you can't. It's just to make sure that you go through the process first, just to prevent you from.
Commissioner Grant, I for one am extraordinarily grateful. Looks like we have at least two more, Brian.
I know the bid is out on every 5-year renewal.
Right.
What happens, long-term maintenance and who owns it if the bid ceases to exist?
No, it's a good question. So, it would revert to the city's responsibility, just like the monuments and the medians and everything else that's in the bid district, would revert back to the city's, Bureau of Street Services. But we fully anticipate we will renew again. We've renewed 3 or 4 times, with, 70%, renewal rates, so. But it's a good question. Linda?
I am very much a supporter of the Parkways beautification project. I think it's going to be really lovely. And, but with the clock, I'm wondering what the time pressure is, what the rush is. I understand that, the bid is coming to the neighborhood council because primarily most of their budget right now is allocated to the Parkways improvements project. And so this clock has gone over and above that expenses, which is why you're coming and doing, an additional fundraising request. But I'm still not, my question is that, given that the bid's operating budget is about 10 times what the Granada South Neighborhood Council's operating budget is, that it's about 300,000 to 30,000 on the.
That's incorrect. Our annual budget's only $100,000.
Oh,
And some of that's, administrative, insurance, and then a lot of big chunk of it is the ongoing maintenance for the landscaping. So, I don't know where you got your figures, but it's only $100,000 more.
Okay, 100,000 a year, so, excuse me, about 3 times the budget of the South Neighborhood Council. And the amount you're asking for is 1/6 of the budget, and which is primarily, and the neighborhood purpose grants are designed to go to things like the robotics team that's here, and to the schools and things of that nature. And so I'm just wondering if there's like a time, why there's a time pressure to get the clock in. I think that the clock would really be charming addition, but could it possibly be paid for out of its budget and postponed to a future budget year after you completed the Parkways project, and then going into a new expense at that time for the clock subsequently?
Potentially, but it would have, that would defer it to 2017, which is a long way out from the
3 years
project.
from now? 3 years from now?
Yeah. The other thing is the next bid term, although it's not final yet, already has earmarked projects for the entire budget in the next term. But speaking of, I wouldn't say there's any urgency. It's a matter of, to raise $20,000 is gonna take a while. And let's say we think it's gonna take a year's effort, just an example. Let's say it takes a year's effort to raise the $20,000. That's a year from now. And we would really like to make it be sort of the last statement piece to the Parkway project, which will be done by then. Whereas if we wait, then it's a long time to wait. So,
3 years.
right.
Okay, any other community questions? All right, seeing none, thank you very much, Mr. Miller.
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, Bonnie, it's in your hands. Do you want to make a motion and request a second? Oh, actually, that's an excellent point. Who, besides Bonnie, who else is?
I'm on the bid, I'm on that board. I'm a board member.
Then you should just acknowledge that to everybody.
Somebody from the
President, isn't this a motion out of
community, well, yeah, we're just, you know what, we're just making sure that we're talking this out. It's a big expenditure, there's a lot of interest.
But let's ask a question.
Hold on.
Yes?
Yeah. Lydia,
Yes.
you have a request for information from?
Yes.
Or board members?
Okay, I'm on the Business Movement District Board also, so during the discussion, do I have to leave the room?
Yes, you should.
Good, okay. And I shouldn't say anything at all?
No, you should not make any comment either.
Okay. Thank you.
Brad, before you let Bonnie leave the room, Bonnie, do you have a record of the roll call vote from the committee meeting that you can state to us before you leave the room?
The committee was unanimous, but they can present it as a new motion here because you raised issues that time. So I didn't vote at the committee, and the other 3 committee members who were present voted unanimously to recommend that $5,000 be donated towards this project, and I did not vote.
So what I'm asking for the record, though, is what committee members were present in order to be able to be in compliance with the roll call vote of the Brown Act.
Their plan, as I hope, to present it as a new motion here today.
So, Bonnie's going to be leaving, and we appreciate her involvement in this.
So then the motion's not coming from committee then?
And we're not arguing that it is, sir.
Okay.
Is there anyone else who's on the beautification committee who would like to offer this as a motion? Anybody on the bid? I'm sorry, actually, good question. Anyone else on the bid who's here tonight?
On the Granada board.
Okay.
On the bid.
If you're on the Granada South Neighborhood Council Board, and you're also on the board of the BID, please recuse yourselves. Thank you. Is there anyone who's here tonight from the beautification committee who would like to present this as a motion? The motion as in the agenda is being, thank you, it's being presented by Mr. Lopez. Do I hear a second?
I will second.
Second from Mr. Matthews.
What is the motion? Was it up to the 5,000? Yes. As stated on the agenda.
Well, if it's 5,000, 15,000.
Well,
It has to be, but you know that you can go.
okay, so simply state, you were making a motion for a $5,000.
Make a motion for $5,000 clock. Wait.
Is that still seconded?
It is still seconded, and I want to know if we need to add in anything about figuring out with Lydia how this money's going to take to get to the clock.
No, you would just need to, what you would do is you would approve the monies to be spent, but then before you actually spend it, you're gonna have to come back to the specific vendor. If you're paying it to a vendor, if not, then it would go through whatever the regular NPG process would be.
So it's a procedural issue.
Yeah,
We
it's
can
procedural, and I
earmark-
don't know it enough because it just changed.
We can earmark the fund.
Yes, you can.
Okay, so we have a motion and we have a second. Now. Let's see. Those in favor? All right, so this is a vote in order to discuss this motion. If you're in favor of discussing it,
We don't need a motion.
I'm sorry, okay. Right, I apologize, okay, didn't like vote, sorry. All right, so we're having we're having discussion on the motion. Any public comment on this motion, with the understanding that we've had a fairly lengthy Q&A session? Any public comment on this motion? Mr. Kuzma?
Hi everyone, my name is William Kuzma. I'm a stakeholder and resident here in Granada Hills. Regarding the request to spend $5,000 for the clock to go in the White Oak improvement area, considering the fact that this board recently approved $9,000 to pay somebody to help the board achieve their goals with paperwork, etc., another $5,000 on that at this time when we haven't even gotten through the first few months of the budgetary year, I think would not be a prudent choice. Since the neighborhood council could get their name on a plaque for a $1,000 donation, I think that would be more appropriate. And then wait until we get to that crunch time and see if we have any money left at the end of the budget year, and then it can be allocated what's left over to this project, in which case we would still have $4,000 to use for beautification projects in areas other than the downtown area of Granada Hills there are areas of Granada Hills South that have been ignored in terms of beautification issues that could be addressed and light that's out there. So hopefully, you know, the board considers how much money is being asked for here at this time so early in the budgetary year. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment on this
Yeah.
issue? Ms. Williamson?
Yes, given the commissioner's comments about the mission of the neighborhood council, and given that this amount represents 1/6 of the Granada Hills South Neighborhood Council budget, it seems to me, although I do think that the clocks would be lovely and charming, rather extravagant expense.
Any other public comment? Okay. Board discussion. Mr. Milne?
While I love the idea of the clock, and I think it's wonderful to do, personally, I don't understand the need for a clock in the modern world where everyone has a cell phone at their side. And devices outnumber people that tell us what time it is, where we are, what we're doing, what we should be doing, what we shouldn't be doing. There's so much kind of information overload out there right now that sees the benefit to the stakeholders in general. So a small clock that stands in the corner next to a local clock.
I feel that spending $5,000 for our name on a plaque, we could, this is essentially gonna go towards our investment in outreach. That sense, having it on a plaque in one particular spot doesn't deny, have the best,
Gentlemen.
Just, two comments. One, just to clarify some of the numbers, that have been mentioned. Our budget is $37,000 for the year. 5,000 is between 1/7 and 1/8 of our budget. We've allocated and approved 8,600 for things just like this. So it's already been allocated or approved by us, which would leave 3,600. If we approve the entire 5,000, the $9,000 allocation for our temporary services like news writer and county services is an up to 9,000. Does not mean that we will be spending the entire 9,000. As every year I've been the treasurer for almost 6 years now, we've always reallocated from budget lines that have a surplus to budget lines that have deficits, or where we find there's more of a need like this. Just wanted to clarify that just to get the facts straight. Second is more of an opinion on this. I understand the two objectives of neighborhood council system. Although it is a small recognition, considering how big our neighborhood council really is, not the board members, the area. That business improvement district really looks like immaculate. It's increased our property values. People come out to that area and pass by there all the time. So although it may not be a newsletter sent out or T-shirts that say Granada Hills South Neighborhood Council on a school band, people will notice that clock and look who donated it. I'm done. Thanks.
Here again, I'd like to stress the point that there are other parts of Granada Hills that could use switching up other than this particular area that seems to be the concentration. I agree that it would be nice to see it there, but I think the practical side, and after listening to the committee member, that the purpose of us doing what we're supposed to be doing, it seems for what we're getting, I don't think we're spending the money the way it should be spent. I think maybe a lesser amount, we might be able to participate as a compromise to it. But I think overall, I think the amount of money that's being asked for, $5,000, I'm a member of the beautification committee, and I brought this up. I thought that the amount was too much, but I agree that it would be a good beautification project if possible. But the amount of participation, I think, should be limited to less than that amount.
I have a question. When do you need the money by?